Well, so we have to start the discussions on AM Talk, and we'll be expecting in the studio Philip London. He's an aide to Alan Tremantin of the MPP, and we know that he's one of three persons who will be contesting the flag bearership position of the MPP come October 18. And it is going to be a national delegates voting process that's going to take place. But the NDC also, they are readying themselves for various regional elections as well as various constituency elections which are also taking place across the country. We have the NDC's chairman for Greater Accra, Joseph Niadekoka, in the studio. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
You're also supposed to be touching base with delegates.
That's true.
Okay,
yes.
So how many will be voting within the period?
Oh, we're looking at about 450 delegates.
450 delegates.
Yes,
they will only decide who becomes chairman of the Greater Accra region.
That's correct.
That's a very small number.
It's a small number.
Ah.
It's a very small number.
That makes your tax very Herculean.
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
So, so far, how has it been for you?
Oh, so far it's been good. I mean, they are discerning. The delegates are discerning. And it's very important that at this stage of our political life, you show people who are discerning, you know, to take decisions that will endure the benefit of the NDC. So far, I've been very impressed with their level of thinking and their level of appreciation. And I'm very confident that come the day of the election, they're going to retain me because together, we've been working very hard to put the NDC where it is today.
But you have a number of personalities who are contesting you as
Oh,
well.
I've told you many times.
It's a matter of contest.
Well, I feel that I keep telling you that I'm focused. I don't want to talk about people who are trying to showcase themselves.
Okay. All right. Now, let's look prominently at a subject that has taken the airwaves not only by storm but gained a lot more prominence over the last couple of days. The issue of what has happened following investigations by the BNI at the National Service Secretariat, and this time captured on the front page of the Daily Graphic. It says BNI vets all payment vouchers and moves to halt further rot at a national service scheme. We're told that allowances now will henceforth be scrutinized by the BNI until further notice. And this has become necessary following the uncovering of an embezzlement of close to 7.9 million Ghana cedis since July, or by July 2014 alone. And that is huge. We've been told that the presidency signal for the commencement of the investigations, etc. But it talks that we have huge seepage of resources as far as our financial system is concerned.
Hey, Roland, let me say good morning to your esteemed viewers and to yourself. For me, the most important that the president acted swiftly, and I must say kudos to him, right? That he was far away in Dubai when he gave instructions that these people must go home for further investigation. And apparently, this investigation has been going on for a very long time, for which he's aware of. And I think the road there should not be allowed to pass. And like you said, too many CPGs in the system, and at the end of the day, all of us suffer because this money can be used to develop one or two areas that will enjoy the benefit of everybody in the country. But if a few individuals will sit down and embezzle so much money, I think it's unacceptable. In any civilized society, it's unacceptable, and nobody should. This morning I was reading General Nunu Mensah in one of the papers say that corruption has hit the roof. You know, it then tells you that everybody, regardless of your political belief, is really worried about what is going on, and we must take swift action. Those people who have embezzled these funds will have to really account for it. It's unacceptable.
If we have to take the discussion and just go beyond the subject of the national health, national service scheme, then we take the general look at how perhaps we have not been able to remove enough ghost names, even though consistently we've tried to undertake some measures that would ensure we get to that very point.
Yeah, this day and age, I mean, we are in the IT age. And still people are paid manually, or people, monies are transferred into accounts where you don't know whether it is hitting the right account or not. I think there are so many intelligent young guys and IT experts who can rid us of this canker. You know, so when they tell us we've got ghost names, who does the input in the first instance? Somebody must do the input. You know, and when they are going to take the money or whatever it is, you must go with an ID. You know, so occasionally, don't you do auditing? I mean, this kind of things at this time and age shouldn't be happening here, because gone are the days where people are paid manually or people are paid vouchers and that kind of thing. We must come out of this and find a better way of closing the seepages in the system. Look, like you said, this might be the tip of the iceberg. You know, you can go to other institutions, you know, national health insurance, you name it, other areas. And we keep hearing all these stories. But the important thing that nobody has yet been jailed, or nobody has been yet asked to bring the money, and physically the money has been collected. So there's a kind of impunity. I mean, people think, well, we can get away with murder. And all this boils to lack of discipline. You know, I think when we were growing up, things like this, you get scared. But this get-rich-quick attitude, mentality, that has hit everybody in the system, enable these kind of things to take place. Everybody wants to be rich one day. Just wake up in the morning and you see, and also you have people spending money here and there, I mean, flashing, and nobody goes to ask them where they are getting the money from. You know, so it seems that gradually we are slipping to the abyss, and it's important that we don't allow these things to collapse the national economy.
Consistently, the accusation would have been in the media about, well, the involvement of politicians, etc., in perceived corruption or embezzlement. But over the period, you get to see that these are civil servants who have been working for decades or a number of years. And so it speaks volumes about the attitude of the public service.
Yeah, Roland, because you've always put the focus on politicians. And I've neglected, I keep telling you that corruption does not start from the top to bottom alone. It also starts from the bottom to the top. Because if you go to an office and before your document is processed, you have to pay before the document is processed. And it will not be done if you haven't paid. People will not go and do their job unless you facilitate them to go and do their job, right? And it is permeating through even our politics, where people are waiting for you to pay them money before they make a decisive decision, you know. And then politicians also go around spending so much money on campaign and nobody asks questions. Somebody who has just been out of office for a year, all of a sudden goes out and splashes so much money all over the place, and nobody asks questions, you know. So what do you want us to do? I mean, somebody somewhere must get a whip and start asking questions, so that we don't find ourselves in this get rich quick syndrome, which is which is giving avenue for such huge sums of money. And like you said, you go a civil servant, public servant, clerk, messenger, you name it.
There's a whole chain of the involvement of various personnel and various people. Now, if, let's say, we're only talking about the National Service Scheme, you have other payments that are made, whether it's for contracts, for other projects, etc., that are even spread across the chain countrywide. Now, how should leadership deal with it? Because at the end of the day, the buck stops with the political leadership.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, for instance, what has been unearthed at National Service Secretariat and what the step that the President has taken, we should see to its logical conclusion. Actions that are taken. Look at what is happening on the Black Stars,
the management,
the commission. You see, and at the end of the day, even the journalists applaud people who go there and say, well, they perform creditably. You know, so we glorify these kind of things. They say, oh, Charlie, you've done well, you've done well. So but if we stop glorifying them and taking decisive action, punitive action, right? And people are realizing that, hey, now you cannot get away with this kind of antisocial crimes. right? People will sit up. But if we glorify it, I mean, that's the habit, the tendency of us to glorify wrongdoing, and it's taking us to a place that one day we all get up and regret.
This has got some negative publicity baggage for you as a party as well as a party in government. No,
you see, this is not the party.
Well, I know.
It's
your party that's
no, and people who are
leadership is key in resolving some of these difficulties.
People have been employed. People have been given jobs, have been given positions to do a certain job, right? I don't think you want to put the party there. So government has to deal with...
I'm not saying they're party people. Definitely they're not party people. These are civil servants who are undertaking their work. But at the end of the day, how well they are monitored and supervised also has got something to do with the leadership in place and how effectively that leadership is able to work.
You see, you have to distinguish between party and government. NDC parties in government, right? But the people who are working there like you are civil servants.
Normal civil servants. Public servants
so it is, if we, the party, function, go and glorify this, then you have a problem.
That's why you're condemning it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm condemning. That's why I'm sitting here and said it's unacceptable. And our party will not accept this, will not condone this. And I believe that at the appropriate time, when it is necessary for us to issue a statement on that, the party will do. But now it's in the hands of the government and these agencies who are handling it, and I think it should be rightly placed in that pot. Now
we have Brigadier Nunu Mensah saying that, well, corruption now has hit the rooftop, and for many people, they will definitely be concerned about it. Now, he said what is happening in Ghana, and in the last few days tells me that there's a complete rot in our society, and we need to do something about it. It is more like an epidemic that is running through the system, and so it is systemic. Now, if you have personalities like you and Brigadier General Nunu Mensah making such comments, well, that is well and good. Yeah. But then who has to do what to make sure all the systemic problems tend to start? Because this is systemic. It's not as if these are one-time issues.
Of course, I agree with him perfectly well. Of course, it is the government who has to take the initiative to do that, and the government agencies. And like I said earlier on, we've got state institutions who are mandated to look into this thing. It is when they are being frustrated along the line, then we can argue that, well, there's a long arm that is preventing them from doing that. But here is a situation where the government, the president himself, he acted swiftly. He tells you that he's not going to condone this kind of unbridled corruption. So for me, I think government hasn't failed. Government is working very hard and to ensure that whatever has gone amiss is put right. And I think we should say kudos to His Excellency the President for swift action. In other jurisdictions, somebody will say, I wouldn't want my government to fall. So they will sweep it under the carpet. But here he's taking a bold decision because he wants to protect the safe of the public. So I think we are on track.
Okay. Now, the president has been reported by the Chronicle saying that we're not out of the woods yet, and indeed, this has been echoed in various news bulletins on this very channel, Joy News, as well as on Joy FM. That gives indication that, well, even though we seem to have achieved, the president has been quoted as saying some economic stability over the weeks. We're not yet out of the woods, and we need to continue to work hard to achieve our development goals. Now, the president arrives from the UN and from a summit he also went in Dubai, in the UAE, and is giving all these indications. It doesn't give a lot of confidence to many people, does it?
No, it does. I mean, a couple of weeks ago when I came here, I told you by the end of the last quarter of this year, there will be a game changer. And we are observing it. The city is stabilizing. At least it needs to come down more. The measures that the government has taken to ensure that we get to Kenya is on track. So he can't come and tell you that we are out of the woods yet when we are not. So he's been very truthful. We are not out of the woods. The game changer, there should be a massive injection of capital, a massive injection of resources to enable the game changer to take place. And one of these resources is the Atuobo gas pipeline. Once that comes on stream, which hopefully at least by the end of the year or so, it should come on, we are going to save over $600 million a year on importation of gas alone. And that's a huge game changer for us, right? And this power outage that we are having will also at least probably will be mitigated. No, I wouldn't want to say that it's going to be solved once, but at least relevant steps will have been taken to mitigate the effect. So that's a game changer. So we are not out of the woods here. We have to work hard. We don't have to go and sleep. That is why when things like this come on stream, right, people embezzle funds, government must be up and doing so that we get out of the woods and stay out of the woods forever.
Now, critically, once we've taken the decision, we've gone to the IMF, and now, you know, this very month, we're supposed to go to Washington, D.C. and go iron out the necessary exigencies. How are we expected to give the needed confidence to the investor community as well as even the local industries and entrepreneurs when we're making some inroads, but we're still being pulled by with energy short supplies and gas supplies that are also not available, etc.?
Yeah, that's why I told you earlier on that there should be a game changer, especially on the power front. But if we do all these things and we are still grappling with outages, then we will still not get out of the woods. And that's a fundamental thing that we have to do. How are we going to fix our power situation? And I'm saying that hopefully it's a matter of us getting adequate gas, adequate fuel to power the energy sector.
The trouble, for example, is only expected to give us about 88 million cubic feet of gas.
But that will supplement the problem you're having from the Nigerian gas pipeline, where
that is if we're having, because now we're being told we've had resumption of supply from.
But still, I mean, we've got resumption, but I'm still not adequate enough. So naturally, what we will get from the other sources to stop complement it will be very vital. So that's a must. We must have a game changer, right? So without us fixing the power front, then I'm sure whatever we do, we're going to have a lot of problems. You know, because fixing the power front will enable also to us to have cheap energy, right, to propel them. Because if energy is expensive, then you are going to have a lot of problems in the industrial sector, in the medium sector, this small-scale sector. So it's very, very important that as far as the power situation is concerned, we do something about it. And I'm saying that hopefully when we get our gas online, there will be a game changer. And the points that the government has outlined, we'll see the light of day.
Okay. We have a personality who will be joining us very soon in the studio. Philip Langdon is an aide to Alan Chiramanting, and Mr. Chiramanting is one of 3 personalities contesting the flag bearership race or position of the MPP. And we know that event will take place countrywide on October 18. The question is whether his candidate is preparing or has prepared adequately for the event. We're getting news report far and wide that 1 or 2 of his supporters within the region sometimes tend to go to the camp of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We don't know how far that true is. So Philip Langdon will be joining us. We're taking a break. When we come back, Mr. Philip Langdon will be joining the discussion. Well, Philip Langdon is an aide to Alan Chiramanting, who is contesting the flag bearership race of the MPP, and that very event will take place countrywide on October 18th. Thanks for joining me, Philip.
Pleasure.
How was your holiday?
Well, I didn't have much of a holiday. I was busy working. Yeah.
How many delegates are you looking at exactly?
About nearly 142,000.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Don't take the wind out of my sails. We've been talking about the president saying that we're not out of the woods yet, and especially when we're having issues of perceived corruption at the National Service Scheme, and how we seem to have an idea of seepage of finances in the public purse, then that should be a concern for many people.
Yes. Well, good morning to our viewers. It's good, and good morning to Andy and to yourself as well. What the president is saying is correct. It's true. We're not out of the woods. And it's good that if he had said anything otherwise, it would not have been the best for all of us. Having that acknowledgement is one thing. taking the necessary, definite, concrete steps is also what we expect to see.
Meaning what?
Well, we must acknowledge that what has been done with respect to the National Service case is good. When you hear such colossal corruption and there isn't any action on the part of government or action being seen on the part of government to tackle the issue, it's very worrying. But in this case, yes, we've seen some definite steps being taken. What I am anxious to see in this particular case is that we get to the bottom of it. Let's not do politics about it. That last month or the month before, 7 million or 5 million or whatever million went to ghost workers, and then that becomes an issue. No. For something like that to have happened, it means that it is a systemic system. I mean, it was a system in place.
It's a systemic issue.
Yes. I mean, like, it was managed. We had a parallel system running there where monies are paid, monies are cashed, monies are paid back. And yes, national service is bad enough. I don't want to get the sense that maybe some people are not in somebody's good book, so therefore. But we want to see it go through. We want to see it with the same determination with JIDA and all the other cases that have come up. The retrieval of money that have been paid wrongfully to Isopotun and other people. We want to see the same energy and enthusiasm being directed in retrieving those funds. Then we get more confidence when our president tells us that efforts are being made to stem the leakage in the system, so that at least we get more for our money. There's more development.
Well, it's critical that he said that, and especially when we keep saying that it's a systemic problem. And he's a politician, you are a politician as well. Once the politician don't seem to be the ones involved, how easy does it make it for all these to be resolved?
No, whether it's a politician or not, I mean, corruption is corruption. It doesn't matter which color it's coming from. It's corruption, and it must be dealt with. Because if you don't do that, right, you are collapsing the system, right? And so, like my brother said, we want to go to the bottom of this case, right? How long has it been going on? I'm sure if it's systematic, it means that it's been going on for years and years and years and years. And now it has come to the notice of everybody. So it doesn't matter whether you're a politician, whether it's coming from whatever source it's coming from, because it's endemic to the growth of society. It's endemic to the development of society, right? I mean, we need hospitals, we need roads, we need books for our children to go to school. And these are things that government must provide. So if that money that government is struggling very hard to find from us, and then somebody is sitting somewhere quietly, siphoning the money out every day and out, and it doesn't matter whether you're a politician or not. If you're a politician, you've come to serve the people. You haven't come to rob them. Your duty, your job as what are we struggling for? To ensure that we get a better living for everybody, regardless of your political background. We are talking about Ghana. Where will Ghana be in the next 10, 15, 20 years? That's what we are talking about. That is why we wake up in the morning to come and sit here to talk about Ghana. So if something is going rotten, it doesn't matter which political divide you are from. And he rightly said, we should take politics out of it and look at it as a nation state. Look, some countries, I'm sure, by the time they wake up in the morning, all their assets and everything will be confiscated. And so government is dealing with it. It's important, and it's good that the signal that came out from government that they are not going to sit down to allow this to happen. So kudos to government, and let's take politics out of it and ensure that.
Mr. London, how would you want the president decisively to deal with some of these things?
Well, first of all, I don't want it to be personalized. A lot of, now you heard a reference to the name of the director being mentioned. I don't think we should go there. The scheme has a board. The board has a mandate. There are things that the board should be doing. You see, too often boards have become job for the boys. Party apparatchiks are just put on boards and things like that. And you don't have enough people really working. They are just there. And they are not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. I can't understand how, if there's a board functioning, you have a certain number of persons as national service persons. You know how much they're supposed to be paid. Yeah, I mean, you should have a sense that this is the amount of money that is coming. There should be a budget. There should be a program. You see, and there should be statistics, verified statistics coming from the various tertiary institutions that tells you how many people are actually coming to you for posting. The system should work. So I can't imagine how the Accountant General or the Ministry of Finance releases money for so many people. The money is just sent around, and people just find ways of clawing back the money, and it's like business as usual until there's an expose like this. It's a major problem. Where has been all the auditing going on over the period? There's reference to other things too, like I'm a farmer, so I'm very passionate about certain things. National Service Scheme used to do agriculture, and they used to talk about how they're going to let second cycle schools to...
it was a big thing.
It was a big thing. You see, the big thing about it was the propaganda of it, not the thing itself.
Oh, now you're politicizing it.
Okay, let me step back for the spirit of the discussion. I am not politicizing it. If I say propaganda, it's propaganda. I'm not saying who was doing propaganda. Okay? Now, if you produce 1,000 bags of maize, what makes me happy is how much it costs you to produce 1,000 bags. If you had 5 tractors and you spent 10 million and you produced 1,000 bags, for me, you haven't done anything. So these are the things we have to go into. We are too eager to have, just make fanfare out of things. And when I say it, I'm not saying about National Service or the director or whoever. It's a thing we've been doing in our country that we have to change. You see what I'm saying? So if there's something, let us ensure that the thing is working, not just that we are doing it for doing sake.